Have you ever felt like life would be perfect if you were just someone else? Maybe a little richer, a little more loved, a little less invisible. Sometimes it's a quiet ache. Other times, it feels like the whole world is moving forward, while you're just standing still. Maybe you scroll through your phone, see smiling faces, perfect vacations, success stories lined up like a gallery of everything you should be, but somehow aren't. And a small voice inside you whispers, if only I were different, then I'd finally be happy. But what if I told you, the people you envy, the lives you think are perfect, are quietly carrying burdens you cannot see? And what if the very thing you think you lack is the very thing that makes you free in ways they could only dream of? Tonight, I want to tell you a story, a simple one, but it might just change the way you see your own life forever. Chapter 1. The Crying Crow. There once was a crow, a small, ordinary crow, sitting alone on a tired old tree. He wasn't graceful like the swan. He wasn't colorful like the parrot. He wasn't admired like the peacock. He was just a crow. Black feathers, harsh voice, invisible to most, and rejected by the rest. On this day, something inside him broke. He lowered his head and wept. Big, heavy tears, the kind you cry when you think no one is looking, and no one would care even if they were. Below the tree, a monk sat in silent meditation. The drop of the crow's tear fell onto his cheek, breaking his stillness. He looked up and saw the crow, trembling in sorrow. Softly, with the kind of voice that only comes from a lifetime of understanding pain, the monk asked, "Little one, why are you crying?" The crow wiped his eyes with his wing and said, "O wise one, I'm tired of being me. No one loves me. No one feeds me. No one even wants to see me. I'm chased away, hated, forgotten. Sometimes, I think death would be kinder than this life." The monk's heart ached as he listened. He understood. He knew the silent wars we fight within ourselves, the wars no one else sees. He spoke gently. "We must learn to find joy in who we are, little one, not in what we think we should be." But the crow, still drowning in his pain, could not hear him. He could only feel the weight of everything he wasn't. The monk smiled, not out of mockery, but out of patience. He said, "Tell me, what would make you happy?" The crow's eyes brightened for a moment. "If you could do me a favor, please, make me a swan." The monk nodded thoughtfully. "Very well," he said. "But first, go. Find a swan. Ask if he is happy. And when you return, we will see." And so, with a flicker of hope in his heart, the crow spread his black wings and flew off into the unknown, chasing the life he thought would finally save him. But he had no idea what he was about to discover. No idea that everything he believed about happiness was about to change. Because sometimes, the life you wish for is carrying change you cannot see. Chapter 2. The Dream of Being Someone Else. The crow soared through the sky, his heart fluttering with a strange mixture of excitement and longing. "Maybe this is it," he thought. "Maybe if I just become something beautiful, everything will finally make sense." After some time, he found a small, shimmering lake. The sunlight danced across the water like scattered diamonds. And there, gliding gracefully across the surface, was a swan, pure white, elegant. Every movement was poetry. The crow's heart raced. "Look at him," he thought. "So perfect, so loved, so free." He perched himself carefully on a branch near the water and called out, "Oh, beautiful swan, may I ask you something?" The swan turned, his neck arching with effortless grace. "Of course, friend," he said gently. The crow hesitated, feeling awkward, small, but finally found the courage to ask, "You must be the happiest bird in the world, right? Everyone adores you, admires you. You are everything I wish I could be." The swan looked at the crow, his eyes kind but tired. He was silent for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. "It is true that people admire me," he said. "But do you know what I see when I look at myself? Only one color, only one face, only one way of being. The world is bursting with colors, blue skies, golden sunsets, emerald forests, and yet I remain just white." The crow tilted his head, confused. "But isn't white beautiful?" The swan smiled softly, almost sadly. "It is. But sometimes I feel invisible, too. Not because no one sees me, but because they only see what they want to see. They don't see me." He turned his gaze toward the horizon. "Sometimes I wonder if the parrot is happier than I am. At least he wears the whole world on his wings." The crow listened, stunned. The swan, the one he thought had everything, was quietly longing for something more. For the first time, a small crack appeared in the crow's dream. A whisper of doubt. Maybe beauty, he thought, is not the answer after all. But still, he couldn't let go of the idea. Maybe it's not just beauty, he reasoned. Maybe it's color. Maybe it's vibrancy. Maybe the parrot holds the happiness I seek. Without waiting another moment, the crow spread his wings and took flight again, leaving the shimmering lake behind, chasing yet another version of the life he thought would finally complete him. Because sometimes, it's not that we're chasing happiness. It's that we're running away from the parts of ourselves we don't know how to love. Chapter 3. The Colors That Hide the Fae. The crow flew through valleys and forests, searching for the creature the swan spoke of. A parrot. Bright, vibrant, full of every color the world could offer. It didn't take long. Among the lush green of a thick jungle, there, perched on a branch, was the most dazzling bird the crow had ever seen. Splashes of emerald, sapphire, crimson, and gold shimmered across the parrot's feathers. He looked like a living rainbow. Like joy itself had taken flight. The crow felt his breath catch in his throat. Surely, he thought, surely this one must be happy. With a hopeful heart, he fluttered closer and called out, "Oh, magnificent parrot, may I ask you something?" The parrot turned, tilting his head with curiosity. "Of course," he chirped. The crow hesitated, his voice almost trembling. "You must be the happiest bird in the world," he said. "You are so beautiful, so colorful. Everyone must adore you." The parrot gave a little laugh, but it wasn't the kind of laugh the crow expected. It wasn't light or joyful. It was heavy, bitter even. "My colors may look beautiful to you," the parrot said, "but they have made me a prisoner." The crow blinked, startled. A prisoner? But how? The parrot ruffled his feathers uneasily. "Because of my colors, humans want to capture me. They trap me in cages, in houses. They clip my wings. So I can't fly, so I can't be free." He paused, looking into the distance, a longing in his eyes that even the crow, with all his loneliness, recognized immediately. "Every day," the parrot whispered, "I live with the fear that someone will reach out, grab me, and steal my freedom forever." "I envy the peacock," he said suddenly. "At least he is so admired, that he is treated with reverence, not fear." The crow stood there, stunned, speechless. He had spent so long believing that more color, more beauty, more admiration would erase his sadness, only to find that behind the parrot's brilliance was a trembling heart, living in fear. Another crack splintered through the crow's dream. Another layer of the illusion fell away. And yet, the longing still lingered. "Maybe," he thought, "I just haven't reached the right dream yet. Maybe the peacock, the most admired of all, holds the happiness that everyone else is missing." So once again, he opened his tired wings and set off toward a new horizon, still chasing, still hoping, still believing that the next version of life would finally be the one that saved him. Because sometimes we are so desperate to escape our pain, we run blindly toward cages that only glitter on the outside. Chapter 4. The Gilded Cage. The crow flew farther than he had ever flown before. His wings ached with exhaustion, but his heart still clung to one last hope. Maybe the peacock, he thought. Maybe he holds the answer. He imagined it, the most magnificent bird, dazzling the world with his splendor, adored by all who saw him. Surely, if happiness existed anywhere, it must live within the peacock's heart. Finally, after many days of searching, he found him, inside a vast, crowded zoo. 100 people surrounded the peacock's enclosure, their faces pressed against the bars, their cameras flashing, their voices gasping in awe at the beauty before them. And there, in the center of it all, stood the peacock. He was breathtaking. Even the crow had to admit it. His feathers shimmered in every color the earth had ever known. Each step he took seemed to ripple with pride and grace. The crow waited until the crowds had faded away. Only then did he approach, his heart beating with a strange mixture of hope and fear. "Dear peacock," the crow called softly, "surely you are the happiest bird alive. Thousands come just to catch a glimpse of you. When they see me, they chase me away. But you are loved, admired, worshipped." The peacock turned his head slowly. There was no sparkle in his eye, no pride, only weariness, and something deeper, something the crow had not expected to find. "Sorrow. You see these bars," the peacock said quietly, his voice low and tired. "They keep me inside. Every day, I am admired. Every day, people gasp at my colors. But they do not see me. They see only what they want to see." He lifted his magnificent tail, letting it fall like a heavy curtain behind him. "And because of my beauty, I am trapped. Because of their love, I have lost my freedom." He paused, his eyes meeting the crow's. "Do you know," he whispered, "for many nights I have watched the crows flying free above the trees, and wished, with all my heart, that I could be one of you." The crow froze. The words hit him harder than any storm could have. You envy me," he stammered. The peacock smiled sadly. "Yes, little one. For all your darkness, for all your harsh cries, you have something I lost long ago. You have the sky." The crow stood in stunned silence. His wings drooped at his sides. The world he had built in his mind, the dream of a perfect life he had chased from one creature to the next, shattered like glass at his feet. It was not beauty that brought happiness. It was not admiration, not attention, not even perfection. It was something else entirely, something he had carried all along, but had been too blinded by longing to see. Sometimes, the cages we envy are made of gold, but they are cages, all the same. Chapter 5. The Journey Back to Yourself. The crow stayed there for a long time, standing silently outside the peacock's cage. He watched the way the peacock's feathers gleamed under the setting sun, watched the way he moved, gracefully, but with a sadness that clung to every step, watched the way the world adored him, but never set him free. And for the first time, the crow didn't feel envy. He felt something else. Something quieter, something deeper. Gratitude. Gratitude for the freedom he had never even noticed before. Gratitude for the sky that still opened its arms to him. Gratitude for the wind that still whispered his name. Slowly, with heavy wings but a lighter heart, the crow turned away from the peacock's cage. He rose into the evening air, feeling the cool breeze lift his feathers, feeling the soft embrace of the open sky. No one chased him. No one caged him. No one clipped his wings. He was free. He had always been free. The crow flew back across forests, across rivers, across mountains, retracing the path he had taken, but seeing it all differently now. The trees no longer seemed dull. The rivers no longer seemed empty. Even his own black feathers, once a symbol of his shame, now felt powerful. I was never missing anything, he thought. I was only missing my own acceptance. As the stars began to prick the velvet sky, he finally returned to the old tree where the monk sat, still waiting, still calm, still smiling. The monk opened his eyes as the crow landed before him. He looked at the crow, not with pity, not with judgment, but with a quiet knowing. "Well, little one," the monk said, "did you find what you were looking for?" The crow bowed his head, not in shame, but in understanding. "O wise one," he said softly, "I do not want to be a swan, nor a parrot, nor a peacock. For the first time in my life, I am happy to be a crow." The monk's smile deepened, a smile that spoke of patience, of love, of the kind of wisdom that waits, without forcing. "Good," the monk said simply. "Very good." And in that moment, under the vast, endless sky, the crow realized he had never needed to become anything else. He had only needed to see the beauty of what he already was. Sometimes, the freedom we search for in distant dreams is quietly waiting for us, right where we are standing. Chapter 6, The Freedom You Forgot You Had. Maybe you, too, have spent years chasing a life that isn't yours. Maybe you've looked at someone else, at their beauty, their success, their charm, their seemingly perfect happiness, and thought, if only I could be like them, then I could finally breathe. Maybe you've stitched together dreams from pieces of other people's lives, never realizing that in doing so, you were pulling yourself further and further away from your own soul. We live in a world that teaches us, from the moment we open our eyes, that happiness is somewhere else, that it lives in a different face, a different body, a different story, a different life. But what they don't tell you is this: every time you reach outside of yourself, every time you believe the lie that says you must become something else to be worthy, you trade a piece of your freedom. You clip your own wings. You build your own cage. You become a prisoner, not of the world, not of circumstance, but of your own mind. The crow thought the swan was happier. The swan thought the parrot was freer. The parrot thought the peacock was adored. And the peacock, he only wanted to be a crow again. Everyone was looking outward. No one was looking inward. And in doing so, they all forgot that the thing they longed for most was something they already carried, quietly, patiently, within themselves. The crow had the sky. The swan had grace. The parrot had color. The peacock had all. And you have something too. Something no one else can claim. Something that was stitched into your soul the moment you were born. Maybe you just haven't seen it clearly yet. Maybe you've been too busy chasing illusions. But what if you stopped running for a moment? What if you stood still, right where you are, and asked yourself, what if I am already enough? Not if you lose weight. Not if you earn more money. Not if you become prettier, stronger, smarter, more lovable. But now, right now, in the exact, imperfect, beautiful form that you exist in this very second. Because real freedom isn't in becoming someone else. It's in finally coming home to yourself. Chapter 7, The Quiet Return to Yourself. Come closer now. This part is just for you. No more rushing. No more chasing. No more measuring your worth by someone else's reflection. Just you, and the life you already have breathing around you. Maybe you've spent so long running, you forgot how it feels to simply stand still. Maybe you've worn so many masks, you started to believe you needed them to be loved. Maybe you've twisted yourself into shapes you were never meant to fit, shrinking here, stretching there, just to belong, just to be seen. But here's a truth you were never told loud enough. You belong already. You are seen already, by the one who matters most. You. The crow didn't need brighter feathers, didn't need applause or admiration, didn't need to erase who he was. He only needed to see himself clearly, without comparison, without shame, without trying to trade his sky for someone else's golden cage. And maybe that's what you need too. Not a better version of you. Not a more polished, more successful, more adored version. Just you. As you are. Without apology. Maybe it's time to stop searching for the life that fixes you. Maybe it's time to stop believing you are something broken that needs fixing at all. You are not a mistake. You are not a half-finished thing. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are a whole story. A living, breathing, imperfect miracle. Just waiting to be seen by the eyes that matter most. Your own. You are the crow. You are the sky. You are already free. You just forgot. But it's okay. You can remember now. You can come home. Home was never out there. It's been inside you, all along. Chapter 8. The new eyes you were meant to see with. Something happens when you stop running from yourself. At first, it feels like silence. An unfamiliar quiet. A stillness you almost mistake for loneliness. But if you stay there long enough, if you breathe through the discomfort, something shifts. The silence isn't empty. It's full. Full of the parts of you you abandoned along the way. Full of the dreams you once called impossible. Full of the strength you forgot you had. The crow once looked at the sky and saw nothing but a reminder of what he lacked. Now, when he looks up, he sees endless space, endless possibility, endless freedom. And you. You can choose to see your life with new eyes, too. Eyes that don't measure your worth by your flaws. Eyes that don't define your future by your past. Eyes that don't see lack, but light. You don't have to become more perfect. You don't have to win anyone's approval. You don't have to earn your right to be here. You already belong to the sky. You already belong to the miracle of being alive. Maybe your scars are not evidence of your failures, but proof that you dared to live. Proof that you have survived things others might never understand. Maybe your loneliness isn't a punishment, but an invitation to build a relationship with yourself so strong that no one can ever take it away. Maybe the very things you thought disqualified you were the very things preparing you to fly. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not missing anything. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Lining, awakening, becoming. Becoming someone who doesn't need to chase life anymore, because they have finally found it inside their own chest. Your life doesn't start when you become better. It starts when you realize you were already enough. Right here. Right now. As you are. You are the crow. You are the sky. You are free. It's time to remember. And it's time to rise. There is a kind of peace that no achievement can buy. A kind of freedom that no amount of applause can give you. A kind of happiness that no perfect life can ever create. It's the peace that comes from within, from knowing you are enough, even without the world's permission. The crow spent so much of his life looking outward, believing that happiness lived somewhere far away, believing he had to become someone else to be worthy of love, to be worthy of belonging. But the truth was never far. It was never in another bird, another life, another dream. It was within him, all along, quiet, patient, waiting for him to return, just like it's waiting for you. You don't need to earn your right to exist. You don't need to fix yourself to be loved. You don't need to trade your sky for someone else's golden cage. You are already whole, already worthy, already free. So the next time you catch yourself looking at someone else's life and wondering if you're missing something, remember the crow. Remember the sky. Remember the freedom you carry inside your own soul. And remember, the most beautiful life you could ever live is not the one where you become someone else. It's the one where you finally become yourself. Stand tall in your own feathers. Spread your own wings. Fly through your own sky. Not because someone tells you you're enough, but because you know it now. You feel it, deep in your bones. You were never missing anything. You were never broken. You were never too late. You were always free. And now, you can live like it.